Coming up on this edition of Flash Talk, brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling, head women's basketball coach Todd Starkey stops by to talk about the upcoming game against the Toledo Rockets and the rivalry against the Akron Zips this weekend. Brianne Tierney stops by to talk all things women's lacrosse. Their season is just a month away. With men's hoops out on the road, we recap our men's basketball season during that intermission. And, of course, it is rivalry week. We break down the Akron and Kent State rivalry. That's all coming up, plus a look around Kent State athletics. It's all ahead in a flash. Welcome back into Flash Talk. As always, we're brought to you by Brian Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside head women's ball coach Todd Starkey. And, Coach, it doesn't get much better than a 4-0 start in league play. That's got to sound awful good.
Yeah, it's definitely better than the alternative. So, we're excited about, obviously, winning games right now. I think we want to make sure we apply a level of truth to what's going on and that type of thing, But once again, I think, this team still has room to grow. And, you want to start off fast, but it's really how you sustain that and how you finish that matters.
Sure, you obviously want to be peaking towards March, but it's always great to get off to a phenomenal start. You guys were able to showcase yourselves on national TV on Sunday night in a big-time victory over a very solid Northern Illinois squad, and we've talked about it over the course of the season. It's been your defense and your rebounding, and I thought especially your transition game really frustrated the Huskies.
Yeah, it's starting to pick up for us a little bit. It's been a focus for us. You got to be able to stop teams from scoring easy baskets, and you have to try and manufacture those yourself. I think one of the things that's led to that for us is an uptick in the number of steals and turnovers that we're creating. Not necessarily by design. We just have some players that maybe a little bit longer or have a little bit better anticipation skills and have active hands. So. Like to see that continue. Our conversion rate has to get up a little bit better. Points off of turnovers, second chance point off of offensive rebounds. Want to see those continue to go up, and 3-point field goal percentage. But overall, I'm pleased with how things are trending.
Yeah, and another thing that I always point to is your balance. You've been able right now to get a diverse array of scoring in a number of different ways and been able to utilize the bench so you're not logging heavy minutes for your 5 starters.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the conference statistics, and we don't have a single player in the top 15 in the conference in minutes played. Sometimes that causes a little bit of your starters' statistics to suffer a little bit. But once again, towards the benefit of balance, like you said. And hopefully that will pay off as we're coming down the stretch in late February and March, that our best players haven't logged the same, their legs have not logged the same minutes that some of the other players in the league have, and hopefully that'll pay off for us.
Well, a busy week this week. We'll touch briefly on the game Wednesday night as Toledo comes into town, and that is a clash of a pair of 4-0 teams, and then rivalry Saturday as you take the short trip down to Akron. So a busy week and 2 marquee games.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you can kind of build out some of that same narrative almost every week in the league, but to play 2 of our big rivals, in-state rivals in conference play, to have Toledo coming in here, the 2-time defending conference champion, the preseason pick, and we're both undefeated in conference play. That's an exciting thing for our fans and for our players. And then to go to that school down the road, and that's always changes the narrative a little bit when we get into that rivalry, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. That's going to be a Saturday afternoon game. Let's touch a little bit on that rivalry. You've been on the right side of things over the last couple of contests, but what you always, especially over at their place, that game perennially is a lot closer than most. And again, it's the old adage that you throw the records out the window, and that game just has a little bit more oomph to it.
Yeah, absolutely it does, and that's a great thing for both of our programs, for our players to be able to play in that type of rivalry atmosphere that quite frankly, some schools never get to experience that. To have that close of a natural rival and a lot of the narrative that's gone the back and forth between both of our schools, I think it's a great thing, and obviously it lends to a more competitive, highly charged atmosphere.
Yeah, it's going to be on Saturday afternoon over at the Jar, so you can make the quick trip down I-76 to go cheer them on. But again, a marquee matchup right here in our own backyard here this week. And again, Coach, I mean, you're playing some phenomenal ball, and let's keep things rolling.
Yeah, that's our goal, just to stay focused on what's right in front of us and continue playing and hopefully peak at the right time here at the end of the year.
Well, Coach Todd Starkey has got the Golden Flashes rolling as of right now 4-0. Let's keep things on the left side of the ledger.
Sounds good.
Welcome back into Flash Talk. As always, we're brought to you by Brianne Heating and Cooling. Dan Griffin alongside head women's lacrosse coach Brianne Tierney. And Coach, thanks for joining us on the set. It's hard to believe we are less than a month away from the start of a spring season.
Yeah, thanks for having me. We're a month away from game one.
And I know it's going to come quicker than usual, but you gave the team a little bit of homework over the break, so you guys really get to hit the ground running as soon as school starts. You guys start.
We start, it's lacrosse season when it starts snowing and it's a high of 24 degrees outside. So.
And yet you guys are out there battling the elements, and more power to you as a result. But you guys open up here in the state of Ohio, down at Ohio State, but then before you know it, you're right back here in the friendly confines of Dick's Stadium. So just talk to us a little bit about coming off the big season last year and the work that is left to be done with the foundation built.
Yeah, we have a huge group of returners, but also a huge group of freshmen. So 14 freshmen on the squad, and we return Offensive Player of the Year Jackie Wolford, and just have a group that's ready to return to the MAC tournament and make an impact at the tournament and prove themselves once again.
Now, obviously, coming off the big success last year, like we said, there's a lot of momentum to build off of. What's kind of been the message to the team, knowing that proof of concept, but still work left to be done?
Yeah, I think their constant growth, their upward trajectory. I think as much success as we had last season, they were still disappointed in the end, and with how that last game went, and so that fuels the fire a little bit. That Central Michigan game is always going to be, one that gets them fired up, and I think we're in a good spot to face off against Ohio State in February 11th, and we saw them this fall, and we're feeling pretty good about how our matchups are.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the team. You mentioned it a little bit that you've got some firepower returning, but you also brought in, like you said, a pretty hefty class of 14. As this program is starting to hit kind of that next stage, what can we expect from the 2024 squad?
Can expect competition at every position, which is exciting. I mean, our goalie spot, we have 3 great goalies who are constantly battling and competing every day at practice. And we're trying to find that new Kenzie Sklar, who's gonna score goals along with Jackie and then with Lily Miller returning on the defensive end and Chloe Benedum and 5th year Delaney Nip down on the defense. We're in a good spot there, but there's a lot of competition at every other spot, and so practices will be more competitive. We have 33 on the roster instead of 26, which is a huge difference for us. So every day is just going to be a battle.
Well, when you've got the reigning player of the year, obviously that's going to command a lot of attention when you guys have the ball. But that depth, that competition, you may not necessarily need just one Robin to her Batman. It can be kind of that balanced scoring attack to where all of a sudden now you've got multiple options, and then that obviously leaves the best to be the best.
Yeah, frees up some room for her. Hopefully that's the case. That's probably our youngest side of the field is the attacking side of the field, and so looking for some kids to hopefully have worked over break and come out and be ready to score goals.
Well, we've always talked that this game is one of momentum. You're trying to build off of a lot of runs, and it obviously starts and ends with that draw control. But just talk a little bit about being able to kind of ride those waves and how that balanced scoring attack and a veteran defense is going to hopefully tip that momentum more often than not into your favor.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being able to stop a run and go on our own runs is huge, and then I think there's some rules changes this year that we're going to have to adjust to and really lean into, that we could be up by 2 players on the offensive side of the ball, or we could be down by 2 players on the defensive side of the ball as quickly as 10, 15 seconds into the game. There's some new green card rules that are going into effect. So it'll make things interesting for sure. And some new defenses and new offensive strategies will go into effect, but it's probably going to be the biggest change you'll see this season.
Well, it's always a competitive Mid-American Conference. You get a couple of non-conference games that kind of work the kinks out. But
Sure.
Best of luck to you as we get started here in mid-February, and go Flashes.
Thanks. Go Flashes.
Coach Senderoff not going to be in studio here this week with the men's basketball team on the road against Northern Illinois. So let's take the time to catch you up to speed on how the men's team has been doing since our last episode.
Solinger from Peyton Jr., a 10-footer left wing. That's no good. Offensive rebound, Von Cameron Davis. It's good. Von Cameron Davis with the rebound. Got the basket. The Flashes are on the board. They trail 4-2.
We start with a Northeast Ohio rivalry as the Cleveland State Vikings came to the Mack Center back in December, and it was the Chris Peyton Jr. show. He commanded the game from start to finish, ending the night with 18 points and a career-high 20 rebounds in the victory. Claron Hornbeek was just shy of his career high, ratcheting up 16 points and ripping down 15 boards of his own. Their teammate Jalen Sullinger dropped in 16, and Giovanni Santiago added 11 to put 4 Golden Flashes in double figures as Kent State walked away with an 83-77 victory over the upstart Vikings.
Smith. Reggie now into the lane. Reggie to the hole, lays it up. Yes, and he's fouled. Reggie Bass went out of there as Chris Peyton with the block. Ahead to Santiago. Santiago lays it up. Yes, and a foul. Oh, plays at both ends. Peyton with the defense. Santiago with a layup, and he was fouled.
Kent State rung in the new year and brought in Mid-American Conference play with the Ball State Cardinals coming to town in early January. The Flashes built up a lead as big as 19 points and ran away with a huge 82-69 victory over the visiting Cardinals. Once again, it was Chris Peyton Jr. leading the way. He had 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 2 blocks, one of 5 Golden Flashes in double figures. Von Cameron Davis splashed in 14, Ty Freeman added a season-high 13, and Reggie Bass and Jalen Sullinger each also recorded double figures coming off the bench. The bench ran deep for the Golden Flashes, recording 42 points for the guys that started the game on the Pine.
No good, and getting the rebound is Davis. Quickly ahead to Ty Freeman. Freeman baseline right, now goes to Peyton Jr., he's going to go! Slam it home over G-Head! Chris Peyton Jr. will go back out to Gio, now bounces in the corner, 3-ball goes up, and that's good! Clock. Looking, lobbing for Chris Peyton Jr. Peyton Jr. is going to drive in, score. Zone defense now as they try to trap out of this. Moss got it to Freeman, right elbow, back out to Moss. Right wing 3, Brendan Moss nails it. Screen from Peyton Jr., Moss on the drive. Moss strong to the hole, glass and good. Brendan Moss with 7, 5 of Santiago to Sullinger. Out to Davis, around the perimeter. Reggie for a corner 3, got it. Reggie Bass. Over to Von Cameron Davis. Davis, top of the circle. Davis, left-hand dribble, goes left wing. Davis, 15 on the shot clock. Backing down Mickey Pearson. Davis goes inside, put it up, and it's good. Von Cameron Davis, 8 in the game, 6 of them in the second half. Sullinger in between the circles. Pass for Ty Freeman inside. Freeman with Anderson on him. Backed him down, put it up. No, got it back up and scored. Ty Freeman. Gio to inbound. Gio got it to Von Cameron Davis inside. He laid it in. Santiago's going to dribble out the clock. Santiago dribbling, 3 seconds, 2. Rob Senderoff, Michael Lewis shake hands at midcourt. Your final score tonight, it was Kent State 82, Ball State 69.
On January 9th, there was a rematch of the Mid-American Conference Championship game as the Toledo Rockets came into town to take on the Golden Flashes, and the Rockets prevailed with an 89-75 victory, putting 6 players in double figures. Jalen Sullinger led the way for the Golden Flashes, scoring 21 points and coming off the bench, while Chris Peyton Jr. and Von Cameron Davis both reached double figures, but it was not enough in the 14-point setback.
Back to Peyton. Peyton fakes the 3, driving in. Lortenson comes over to help, but Peyton Jr. off the glass score. Chris Peyton Jr. Freeman will hand it off to Sullinger. Sullinger, Santiago, Peyton, Freeman, and Rollins are the 5 on the floor for Coach Senderoff. Santiago in the corner, 3-ball goes up, and it's good, and it's Ty Freeman off the bench. Here with the basketball. Sullinger gets it to Time Freeman. Freeman into the lane. Freeman put it up and in. Time Freeman with injury. Solinger. Devon Cameron Davis, top of the key three, and he got it. Von Cameron Davis. The dribble. Jalen put it up. Yes, and a foul. Jalen Solinger. Lead by 15. 2:35 to go. Von Cameron Davis out to Jalen Solinger. Solinger outside to Bakelja. Long three. Got it. Mike Bakelja. His second three of the night.
Let's take a look at what's going on around Kent State's campus. As always, it's brought to you by KSUTix.com. On Wednesday evening, your women's basketball team welcomes in the reigning Mid-American Conference regular season and tournament champion Toledo Rockets. It's Welcome Back Student Night with a Golden Flasher t-shirt as we celebrate an old KSU mascot and a Frisbee dog performance at halftime from the Performance Dogs of Ohio. On Friday evening, it is rivalry time as the men's basketball team welcomes in the arch rival Akron Zips at 7 p.m. in a game they'll see nationally on ESPNU. Once again, it's our annual Gold Out with a gold t-shirt throwback giveaway. And you can actually make it a whole day here on campus as our indoor track and field team will host those same Akron Zips for the annual Akron Duel. That starts at 3:30 p.m. inside the Kent State Fieldhouse. And on Saturday afternoon, the women take the short trip across I-76 to the Jar to take on those same Akron Zips. Tip time is at 2 p.m. Find us on your favorite social media platform at Kent State Athletics. The two schools are separated by a mere 11 miles, and on the hard court, the rivalry dates back to 1915. Let's take a deep dive into the Kent State-Akron feud. Last season, the Flashes won 4 of the 5 games on the hard court in this historic rivalry. On the women's side, the Flashes swept the season series. Kent State won 57-55 in the Jar behind 16 points from senior Hannah Young and 2 clutch free throws in the waning seconds by Katie Shoemate.
About 7 logos that Akron's used over the course of the last few years. Here's a dump off down low to Tatiana Thomas on Hannah Young. Young now has it on the wing, goes inside to Thomas. Thomas has been getting more and more aggressive with each passing game, and how about this? Kelly to throw this in. Kent State again steals a possession back. Hannah Young left open for 3, will bury it. Flashes want to push the tempo. Up the floor, out to Hannah Young. She's got 2 threes already. Make it a triple. She tried to force something. Kelly, a veteran, up the floor and lays it in transition. Kent State swings it around to Kelly. Now back to Shoemate. Shoemate on a baseline drive, a Euro step and a righty finish. Drifts out with 7, with 6. Hauser hangs in the air, fires and knocks it down. Katie Shoemate for the game, rattles around and in for the Flashes. The Kent State Golden Flashes march into Akron and walk away with a victory.
At home, Kent State dominated from the tip in a laugher 87-46 victory inside the Mack Center. It was the largest victory for the Golden Flashes in the rivalry dating back to 1998. Katie Shoemate once again led 4 players in double figures, grabbing 18 points and adding 10 rebounds to record a double-double.
Ball, hard pass to Hauser, going to turn lemons into lemonade, and you knew it was going in before she even put the shot up. Now Kent State goes inside to Shoemate. Shoemate goes up into a double team, does not matter. And almost stolen away there by Dominique Camp. That'll give Shoemate a little room to work with. Shoemate will stop and pop and knock it down. Flashes get it back off here to Corinne Hauser. Hauser will go up with the right hand. She will score. Now to Lindsay Thal, lob it down low. Katie Shoemate goes up, puts it off the window and in. Hauser, again, not a lot of urgency, none needed. Hauser pulls up for a mid-range jumper, clean as ever. Flashes to Batch, to the basket, 2 more. Ogle up the floor, Flashes in transition. Abby Ogle lays it in for 2. And for Kent State, it's the largest margin of victory over the Akron Zips since 1998.
On the men's side, Sincere Carey led 3 in double figures, but 24 points from Xavier Castaneda and 17 rebounds from Enrique Freeman gave the Zips their lone win last season, 67-55 inside the Jar. The Flashes evened up the series on the men's side, sending the seniors out with a win and an exciting 89-84 overtime victory on senior night inside the Mack Center. Sincere Carey had 35 points to lead the way, while Chris Payton added a Flashes career high 22.
Now to Jacobs, he goes to the rim, lays it up and in, count the basket. Jacobs got fouled. Here's Jacobs. He's guarded by Freeman. Gives it underneath to Myron Thomas. He will jam it in. A two-handed dunk. Sincere comes up with it. He will pull up and shoot a three on the right. Yes! Sincere carry, 12 points. He tries to get it into Payton. He does. Chris Payton drives on Freeman, lays it up and in. It for the Golden Flashes. Jump past Myron Thomas underneath. Chris Payton, he will slam it in. Great vision by Myron Thomas. Makes his move. He fires a skip pass to Jacobs. There goes a corner three. Jackpot! Thomas grabbed a rebound off a missed shot. I was screened from the action. Carey attacks the rim, lays it up and in. He gets fouled. Count the basket, but they don't get the foul committed, and it's over.
Just 1 week later, Kent State ended the Zips' run through the Mid-American Conference tournament, leading by as many as 15 in the first half, on their way to a 79-73 victory and an eventual Mid-American Conference title. Myron Thomas led up two guys above 20 points with 24, while Sincere Carey added 21. It was just the second time in the rivalry in the last 20 years that two Flashes had at least 20 points in the victory.
Flashes now. Carey with 6 to shoot. He turns the corner on the left and got all the way to the rim and banks it home. And that's it. The Kent State Golden Flashes advance to the MAC Tournament Championship game.
That's going to do it for this edition of Flash Talk, brought to you by Brianne Heating and Cooling. Join us next week when we take another deep dive into the wonderful world of Kent State athletics. For all of us here inside the GFTV studios, this is Dan Griffin saying Happy New Year and go Flashes.